Shalom. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that do rule well, and to the brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom. Today's lesson comes off of the back of two videos. I'm going to play them, comment, and end it off with a few scriptures, of course. Let's go.
I still look to the Brexit decision as a failure of the European Union, because if an important country like the UK, a key country like the UK, is breaking away from the European Union, it's difficult to say, oh, it's a success. Fantastic. I don't look into this outcome of this referendum in that way. I think it's a failure, and it has opened our eyes in the European Union, and it has speeded up, accelerated the whole thinking about the reform of the European Union. That's true. So in a certain sense, and you see that also in the public opinion.
Right, so what this gentleman is talking about, he's talking about the Brexit, right? And also the European Union. Well, obviously Europe is not united. They are divided. That's why you have Britain leaving the European Union through Brexit, right? To where the people voted to leave the European Union, right? Because they're not united. But this all goes back to the scriptures. Right, we're not even going to wait to get the scripture. We're going to get right into it. And this goes to Daniel chapter 2, verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong. Well, you know what? Let's get the whole dream. We're not going to read the whole dream, but hold on. So this was the dream that Daniel broke down. Nebuchadnezzar had the dream. And it was the dream of the statue, part gold, silver, brass, iron, and the last part was iron and clay, right? Now, let's go back. We're dealing with the fourth kingdom, and the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay, right? Because what does that do? That weakens it, right? If you mix the clay with the iron, what's that going to do to the iron? It's going to weaken the iron. It's going to rust the iron, right? Let's go back to the video real quick.
In the public opinion, what we have seen on the continent, if I may say so, that is that after Brexit, the European project regained popularity in the sense of, okay, maybe there are a lot of things that doesn't work very well in the European Union, but to break away, that's not maybe the good solution. So in that sense, since Brexit, there have been more debate on the reform of the European Union than we ever got in the years before. So that's caused by Brexit. But I still find the fact that Britain is going out of the European Union a bad thing for Europe.
Of course it's a bad thing for Europe because it's division. Of course, it's a bad thing, right? It's division. They're not together as one time, right? And it's biblical prophecy. It's straight up biblical prophecy. So this guy is right. I can't pronounce his name, but he's completely right. It's definitely a bad thing, right? But it's biblical prophecy. It's good. This is Mark chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And what kingdom is this? This is an Edomite kingdom, right? This is an Edomite kingdom. Just like it said, you're going to have the iron mixed with clay. Well, that iron, let's get the image. See, that iron goes back to who? Goes back to the Roman Empire, right? That iron goes back to the Roman Empire, right? If you can see, Julius, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Nero, Titus, these are all Edomites. Coming into the iron and clay, which is dealing with America, right? Still, you have Edomites ruling again. But this time it's gonna be mixed with clay. So they're not gonna be as strong as they were during the Roman Empire. They're gonna be even weaker than they were before. Right? So it's iron mixed with clay. Right? So these European countries who are what? They are Edomites. They're not different than America. America, Edomites. Russians are Edomites. Right? The British, they're Edomites. These are all Edomites, right? They're of the same house. They're of the house of Esau, right? But in this time, they're going to be weakened. And that is a beautiful thing that they're divided against each other. They've been playing that trump card on us for a long time. What have they been doing? They've been dividing and conquering us since they came back into power. Right? During the Renaissance. That's what they've been doing. So it's a beautiful thing that the Heavenly Father is dividing them. Right? It says, let's start from 23. And he called unto them, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Right? And that's what we have here today. Right? We have kingdoms being divided. And I got another clip that's going to show that.
Good morning. Good morning.
So this is the second clip. And this is of Nigel Farage. And he's gonna go into it a little bit deeper and show how divided they truly are in Europe.
Funny, isn't it? Funny, isn't it? Thank you very much for that very warm welcome. How things have changed.
Just a second, Mr. Farage.
Kolleginnen und Kollegen,
Ladies and gentlemen,
eine große Qualität der Demokratie
one
ist,
major
dass man auch
quality
denen
of
zuhört,
democracy is that you listen
deren Meinung man nicht
to
teilt.
those, even if you don't share their opinion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Schultz. Isn't it funny? You know, when I came here 17 years ago, and I said that I wanted to lead a campaign to get Britain to leave the European Union, you all laughed at me. Well, I have to say, you're not laughing now, are you? And the reason you're so upset, the reason you're so angry, has been perfectly clear from all the angry exchanges this morning. You, as a political project, are in denial. You're in denial that your currency is failing. You're in denial.
You heard what he said? You're in denial that your currency is failing. But not only them. It's not only them, Mr. Farage. Your currency is failing as well. America's currency is failing as well. It's a global failure. That's what you don't understand, and that's what everyone in this world doesn't understand. There is no more looking at countries separately. So all these countries are all interconnected now. It's in America. In America, they have a saying called too big to fail, right? Because everybody is interconnected now. This is from wikipedia.org, and it is too big to fail. It says the too big to fail theory asserts that certain corporations, particularly financial institutions, are so large and so interconnected. That is the point. Global economy, right? That their failure would be disastrous to the greater economic system, and that they therefore must be supported by government when they face potential failure. The colloquial term, too big to fail, was popularized by U.S. Congressman Stuart McKinney in a 1984 congressional hearing discussing the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation's interventions with Continental Illinois. McKinney was bought and paid for. That's why he was talking like that. He supports big banks. He supports the Federal Reserve, which is an illegal entity within the United States. The term had previously been used occasionally in the press. Proponents of this theory believe that some institutions are so important that they should become recipients of beneficial financial and economic policies from governments or central banks. Some economists, such as Paul Krugman, hold that economies of scale in banks and other businesses are worth preserving so long as they are regulated in proportion to their economic clout, and therefore that too big to fail status can be acceptable. That is unacceptable. That's saying that these people can do whatever they want to do, make all the bad decisions that they want to make, and then that the government will always bail them out. And bail them out with what? Bail them out with what money? Right? The government doesn't have money. The government goes to the Federal Reserve for the Federal Reserve to print money, and the money that is printed is not backed by anything. It says the global economic system must also deal with sovereign states being too big to fail. Do you understand? That's what I just said, right? Sovereign states as well. It's not only corporations, it's going into different states. Right? Just like Greece, right? Just when you had the pigs nation, right? You had Portugal, Ireland, Greece, Spain, Italy, I think, right? You have these major sovereign states. Well, guess what? They're too big to fail. You're not gonna let Greece just fall to the waysides. No, you'll hit them with austerity measures, but you can't just let them go under. Like you're just gonna say, forget Greece. It doesn't work like that, because everything is interconnected. It is going to affect you and your country in some way. Period. There's no getting around that, right? That's what they've created. They've created a global monster. It's a global catastrophe that's going to happen. So when everything does fail, it's going to fail together, right? Like dominoes. It's going to be a domino effect, right? It says opponents believe that one of the problems that arise is moral hazard.